Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Raising Vibrations with myself, Simon. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts and opinions and ideas on the Cancer archetype, the fourth house and the moon. So as you know, I've been recently doing this series on all the astrological symbols, and today I've got to the Cancer archetype. Now, for anybody that was watching this for the first time and you haven't seen the videos before, so the Gemini and the Aries and the Taurus videos, I highly suggest that you go and start off with those first, simply because the way in which I'm expressing the information is in a sort of like pattern or an evolutionary cycle. And so the symbols that come before this symbol over here have got some information that relates to the next phase within consciousness. So I'm going to put a link on the video right now, and you can click on that and it'll go straight to Aries and just check those videos out first and go through that process. Okay, so for any of you that have just come back and have been watching the videos, thank you so much for the support. Truly appreciate it, and I'm glad that I'm able to actually provide you guys with some interesting information. So Cancer, the fourth house and the moon. Okay, so when we're looking at the archetype of Cancer, we're looking at the idea of the ego, okay, the subjective ego, but also at the same time the conscious ego. And the reason why it relates specifically to the ego in itself is because the moon, the Cancer, and the fourth house. So Cancer and the fourth house relate to your inner sense of identity, okay, and through an extension, it then relates to the nature of the home, as the home is a reflection of your inner world, as it were. It's also at the bottom of the Zodiac sign, so it relates to the IC, for instance, the Imicoli. And it is that inner self, or that inner root area, that the roots of your actual consciousness in itself, that relates to the ego, and it is reflected through the nature of your home. So that's why the moon and the fourth house, or at least the fourth house in Cancer, relates to the moon in itself, because the moon, the home, relates specifically to your sense of identity. Now, the reason as to why it also then correlates to your sense of identity as well is because on a moment-to-moment basis, as you are experiencing your reality, you are responding emotionally to that moment-to-moment reality all the time. And over a collection period of time, you will have imprints, emotional imprints, that will relate to experiences. And it is these collection of experiences that create the ego and its experiences of its reality. Now, I hope that's not too deep, but that's exactly the nature of how the ego and the fourth house and Cancer, the moon, all correlate to a specific sense of self-identification. And it is also how you see yourself within every single moment as well. So anybody that has, like, say, for instance, the moon sign in Gemini will relate to themselves in a very communicating and sort of fast-paced way, easy learning, etc., etc., because the nature of Gemini in itself, as you've heard from the previous video, is to compulsively collect as much information as possible over a period of time and not staying in one place. Okay, so when you have the moon over there, you can imagine how your moment-to-moment reality is working. You're picking up loads of information straight away, it's being digested, but at the same time it's not actually, you know, deeply grasped. It's just on the surface, right? Because it's collecting these things. Whereas if you have, say, for instance, the moon in Sagittarius, there's a larger possibility that your state of awareness will be more about pondering the thoughts and ideas about the nature of a universe, right, and where it belongs and how you fit into it, etc., etc., and truth and such. Whereas if you had, say, for instance, the moon in Aries, right, your image of yourself will be extremely self-orientated. In fact, all your energy will be self-focused, and it's not because of anything other than the fact that the energy pattern is only on the self, because that's all it knows. So can you see the sort of differences when it comes to the moon being in a sign? Now, of course, the moon from normal astrology also correlates to, you know, a very popular sense of identity. It's like, oh, I've got my moon sign in this you know, I've got my moon sign in Scorpio, I've got my moon sign in Cancer, and this is what it means, etc. Now, from a conscious perspective, the reason as to why these things why this information is able to give you aspects of your personality is because, like I said, it is a conscious reality in which you live on, based on how you experience every single moment. And I think that's the real sort of big thing that I'm trying to get over here, is that the sense of identity is created through your moment-to-moment reality, which reflected in the moon, okay, and the fourth house in Cancer. So that's what it relates to from the consciousness perspective. And then again, like I said, the Cancer, the fourth house, and of course the moon will also relate to your emotional nurturing that was received as you were growing up. So that can come from your father or it can come from your mother, but it will specifically correlate to the emotional nurturing parent within your upbringing. Okay, and Cancer, the fourth house, and the moon as well will relate specifically to the nature of your home life, and it will relate to the nature of your roots, the roots of your consciousness and such, and where it comes from, so your family, etc., etc. So these are all aspects of the Cancer in the fourth house. Now, things that Cancer also relate to from the point of view of the zodiac is that it's part of the water trine between Pisces and Scorpio. And so from the soul's perspective, Scorpio, the eighth house, why am I here, relative to Pisces, which is the totality of creation, where do I come from, and of course with Cancer then making the final completion within that process, my sense of identity relating to that. So it is completely and utterly part of the sense of self and its relationship to everything around it on a conscious level. So yeah, that's exactly what it relates to. Okay, everybody, I hope that was something that was interesting. There's loads of information about this sign that I can share, but it's a lot more complicated than just sort of like, speaking these things over here. I don't want to sort of let the videos go on too long. If you're interested in knowing more about this archetype in itself, then contact me through my websites over there, simonvorster.com, and just click on the Write to Me tab and send me an email with all the information that you want to know, and or if you want a specific sort of reading that I can do for you relating to the Cancer archetype in itself. All my prices are on my website over there. Go have a check out on over there. I highly encourage an astrology reading, an evolutionary astrology reading at least, which speaks about many dimensions, not just the sort of three. And if you've liked the content that I brought you and it was enjoyable, then hit the like and subscribe button, guys. That would be greatly appreciated. And of course, I hope to be bringing you some content that will allow you to raise your vibrations, as I said. Okay, well, until then, take care and have a fantastic evening. Cheers, bye.